Good afternoon and welcome to our newest Nanda Journeys presentation, this time on the music education journey to Finland with our friend, Dr. Lynn Brinkmeyer, which we're so excited to have join us. Before we get into all the amazing things that we're going to be talking about today, just a little bit of housekeeping. Everybody on the webinar today is muted, but that doesn't mean we don't want your questions. We absolutely do. So please contribute to the conversations by clicking on either that chat button or the Q&A button that you'll find there in your drop-down menus. And please provide your questions. We'll be working to get to them throughout the conversation. If we don't have time during the conversation, we'll definitely be getting that to them at the end of the conversation during our Q&A session. Also, this webinar is being recorded. So if you don't have to step away, or if you have someone that you were going to be traveling with, or someone who else is interested in this itinerary, please know that we'll be sending out the recording. Feel free to share with anybody and everybody, your favorite travel partner, so that way they can join you on this amazing journey to Finland as well. Without further ado, let's get into our amazing itinerary, 9 days, 7 nights, September 13th to the 21st, 2026, hosted by our friend Lynn Brinkmeyer. But I'm joined first and foremost by my friend, Nicola Balmain, founder and owner of Nanda Journeys. Nicola, I love talking to travel with you and your journey hosts, and this is no difference here. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, it's good to be here, especially talking about a destination that people have asked us to create an opportunity for them for many years. So the Nordic countries have long been requested, and super excited to be introducing the opportunity. And thanks for everybody for being here today. And hello from Vienna, which is where I am right now. I know my picture doesn't lend itself to that, but yep, I'm actually in Europe right now. So hello from Europe.
Awesome. So our presentation agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about Nanda Journeys for those of you that are new to the Nanda Journeys family, but we'll also get into the journey details, talk about all the add-ons, talk about the pricing, how you get signed up, get registered. And like I had mentioned at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about question and answers, any questions we can't get to throughout the presentation today. Before we get into the journey, Nicola, tell us a little bit about Nanda Journeys and your journey to making this amazing travel company.
Yeah, I know that we're going to be joined today by several people that have traveled with us before, so they're very familiar with the Nanda family, as we like to refer to it. But for those of you that are new to Nanda Journeys, first of all, I extend to you a very warm welcome to this very special family. I started this journey in 2015 as Nanda Journeys, but prior to that, I was working in travel since I was 17 years old. So for me, it's all about the people. Connecting you with the culture, with the people, allowing people to tell you their stories so that you can go home kind of really infused with a sense of what it's like to not only see another country, but to feel another country. And the Nanda way, as you know, Michael, has really been expressed to us by our travelers, by our leaders, by our guides. And they really just kind of fed back to us what we already were very intrinsically connected to. And that's that we had a unique Nanda way, that our programs were immersive and authentic. You know, even the conversation we're having today, we want to have an authentic conversation around what this opportunity is, who it might be for, and to allow a conversation to naturally unfold about this wonderful destination, but also about the participants. And our groups are always small. That's intentional. We want everybody to have a really intimate experience. And all the itineraries are created unique. And you know, the fabulous Dr. Brinkmeyer, who we're going to be talking with here soon, has helped us curate something really special for our music journeys, and kind of collaborated with us to create the mission and vision for how we want these programs to feel. So everybody's welcome. We really want you all to feel the warm invitation and to know that everything's taken care of. So really, the only consideration we want you to have is whether or not you want to go to Finland. Beyond that, you can rely on us to take care of everything else, from the accommodations to getting you ready, to everything on the tour being included. So the only decision you need to make is whether or not Finland's on your list.
Yeah. And then once you get there, all you have to worry about is having a good time, which is amazing. And one of the best aspects, all this stuff is included, obviously, in your itinerary and your journey. But I think the best thing, the icing on the cake, are the unique journey hosts that you guys have, that Nanda Journeys has, that you choose. And Dr. Lynn Brinkmeyer is not a change to that. She's an amazing continuation of your journey hosts. Tell us a little bit about Lynn. And Lynn, thank you so much for joining the conversation.
Happy to be here.
Len, it's so wonderful to have you. And we were just chatting earlier, and I think we've decided this is your 15th international journey leading these delegations. But not only are you a wonderful delegation leader that leads from our heart, you're very revered in the music circles and the education circles. And, as a past president of the National Association for Music Educators, your time at Texas State, which I know they were very sad to lose you recently, but you're staying still very much connected to your students, past and present. And I think, for anybody that doesn't know you, the thing I want them to know is your heart is bigger than anything anybody could ever appreciate. So having somebody like you at the helm and leading these journeys, really special for us. So thank you and welcome back.
Well, I'm so thrilled to be back. I will tell you that Finland has been on my to-do list for probably most of my career in music education. In fact, I actually bought a ticket, had a 2-week version journey there, and we were supposed to leave March 23rd, 2020. And so in late February, I canceled my flight there, which is, to stay home for COVID. So I've been so thrilled when we found out that we could do this. And I just want to thank Nanda Journeys also because every trip we've ever been on with you and your company is that anytime something doesn't quite go right, one of the things I love so much about you, immediately you take the feedback and you talk with us and decide what's the best way to, you fix things instantly and take a look. And every trip has evolved and evolved and evolved even more. I've always loved all of them, but I want to thank you for that. You really listen to the delegates and what they would prefer and what would serve them best. And I'm so grateful for that. So thank you.
It's nice to have an honest conversation and for people to feel comfortable to be able to give us feedback and give us an opportunity to help make things as perfect as possible in the world of travel, which, part of the fun is just expecting what's going to go wrong.
It's improvisation time. Be ready to
Yeah.
be flexible. And just to let anyone, if anyone's on the webinar that hasn't traveled with us before in this wonderful family, is that yes, we do the touristy things. We see the main decisions and things that people would like to see when you go to each country. And so you can see here, we happen to be on the day that you can't see them all behind, but there's about 10,000 people behind us here in Portugal that we just recently had this opportunity to be there. And then but we went backstage in the back of the cathedral. We saw the children that were singing during the mass. We're standing there watching the conductor as he conducting them. I mean, I could have just stood there the whole mass and watched that. It was fabulous to be in there. Also, we get into people's homes. As I was thinking about things to share on this webinar, I still remember this amazing time when we were in Morocco and this gentleman invited us into his home and he was pouring us tea while we're sitting there in his home. His wife had baked bread out on their stone oven. And to be in and have those experiences in Tanzania, we made drums in Tanzania, and we also visited the houses of some of these little children, and each one of us was in a different house with a different family. I mean, those are experiences that you're not going to, I don't believe, typically find by just going to that country by yourself or going on a typical tour. So that's just a little sprinkling of some of the fun we get to have.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and I
in
think
addition to that, I mean, this is a career enrichment journey, right? So you had mentioned a little bit about the opportunities to see not only the culture, but also see the music and its influence in the culture. And Nicola, you were very pivotal in working with Dr. Lynn to create this amazing itinerary. Tell us a little bit about how the career enrichment aspects kind of find their way into the city of Helsinki and Finland.
Yeah, I think, well, the thing that resonated for Lynn and I when Lynn told me of her desire to introduce people to Finland, all of their teachers have a master's degree, right? And pretty much everybody is involved in music in some form or fashion, right? So it's not just about it being a profession, it's part of their culture. I think I read something that music is life in Finland, that that really is that ethos of if you don't have music in your life, you're not living life. So for our professional folks that are involved in music education or they're an educator, if they're in not necessarily music education, but in education, whether you're currently employed, semi-retired, or retired, the threads of the professional element really allow you to see the country in a different way because you're meeting with people on the same kind of wavelength, right? So it's a peer-to-peer engagement conversation with people that are 100% committed to this art form. Music is really important, you know, to help children develop. So that's interwoven into each day. So we've cultural experiences with the actual music elements. And I think no matter who you are, music allows us to really feel a culture, right? So that's been even more accessible with this particular itinerary. So it's not just about the career enrichment, it's about understanding the entire country as a whole and seeing it. So everybody's welcome. You'll be with people that are truly fascinating. I had the unique opportunity to be able to pop in on Lynn's group just a couple months ago when they were in Portugal. And
Awesome.
for some of the most beautiful people you'll ever meet, she has really curated this kind of alumni following, and then every year there's a few more that join, and then a few more. So it's a beautiful family, and Lynn, I thank you for creating that really, really special family. It's something to behold.
Well, it's reciprocal on my part as well. And while you were talking about the music part, it helped me remember when we went to Costa Rica. We went to a very small school out in the country somewhere with our guides, and we actually had some of our delegates that taught some of the classes. Even without the translation of Spanish, they were able to teach the music classes. Nellie she did a drumming circle with one of the groups. I mean, so those kinds of things. And I think she did impromptu drumming one time when we were on this amazing elevator going up that, and people were laughing. So just those kinds of things that are so impromptu that you don't really know will happen. It's not something you put on the agenda, but it ends up being such a more rich part of the actual experience. And so to talk to teachers in Finland, I mean, I know every one of our countries is different. Finland's different than our countries, yet learning from them how they build this beautiful educational experience. So I think, Nicola, didn't you say 90% of the kids in the whole country have music? Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, 90% of children in Finland have some kind of formal music education. It's just part of the curriculum. It's deemed to be super important. And I think I read somewhere that like over 70,000 Finns are part of a choir, like a formal coordinated choir. So you're going to have some great choral experiences and hear some wonderful music. And also because we're traveling in September, we're also have an opportunity to be able to see the schools. When we've traveled in the past, it's been in the summertime, and access to, you know, the formal classroom kind of environment has been a challenge for us. But the formal classroom environment is super exciting for us on this particular journey because of the time of year that we're going.
Yeah.
That is fabulous. We did visit when we went to Australia. We were, their winter and summer opposite of ours. And we were able to go into some of the choral programs and watch them in rehearsals. And it was just fascinating. And actually talking to the individuals that train the teachers as well, having that conversation with them to see how their training programs are similar to ours and what are different. I mean, again, for those educators that are interested in that, it's really fascinating. So thank you for making this happen. I mean, I'm just so delighted.
Awesome. So, what's awaiting us in the beautiful country of Finland, the beautiful city of Helsinki? We depart for our first day, 9 days, 7 nights, 16 meals. We depart on day 1 for the city of Helsinki. We spend days 2 through 8 in the beautiful city of Helsinki, traveling out to Turku for one of those beautiful days for a day trip, before day 9 departing back for home. And arriving back with our amazing memories, taking our memories, leaving our footprints, as we like to say here at Nanda Journeys. When we arrive in Helsinki, depending upon arrival, we might have a few things, an opportunity to meet the group. But Nicola, tell us a little bit about what awaits us for this first day in Helsinki.
I think something that's really wonderful about this is that you're staying in one hotel. So because we can cover quite a lot of ground, you're staying in Helsinki and then doing the day trips. So I think for those of you that don't like unpacking and packing, then this is definitely a little bit different. But arriving the first day, the welcome dinner, we'll have a live folk music performance as well. So this will be a really wonderful introduction to the culture, again, in Helsinki. And Len, I think the welcome dinners are some of your favorite things. I know, Michael, it's
Family
your
reunion.
favorite thing. And tell us, Lynn, a little bit about your past welcome dinners and how that's really helped to really solidify the group and set things off like in a really well-intentioned way.
Well, as I said, I blurted out, it's just like a family reunion for so many of the people that have traveled with us so often. And then occasionally somebody might miss a year or two travel and then come back and say, oh my gosh, it's so good to see them. And then, you know, whoever the new people are, they're going to be part of the family, whether they like it or not. And so I mean, my heart is beating faster just talking about that. It gets so excited and so energized to be able to see the people that I love. And these are lifelong friendships that I have now. I consider some of my dearest friends in the entire world. And Nicola just briefly mentioned that she got to meet with us when we were in Portugal. And I will say that I walked into that building and got to give her a hug after been on Zoom with you for 15 years almost. And I was so elated to actually be in the same room with you. And it's no wonder why I love you so much, but it was so fabulous. So that I don't even know if we eat anything, but we're a happy group by the time we get through the dinner. So thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That sounds like a unique experience for a welcome dinner. Usually it's a hard time getting people to talk, but it seems like you have so many people that repeatedly travel with you that not talking is not a problem. I love that about your group. On day 3, we get a chance to explore the beautiful city of Helsinki. The walls you may have walked by during your free time the day before. There's a reason that they say if these walls could talk, because Helsinki holds a lot of history, holds a lot of amazing stories. Nicola, tell us a little bit about what we'll be seeing and what we'll be experiencing on this day 3.
Yeah, so here, you know, we'll do a city orientation. Beautiful. The pictures beforehand shows, you know, just the gorgeous colors and the architecture and you know, that waterside location as well. So we'll explore the city and learn all about its wonderful highlights before having lunch. And in the afternoon, this is when we'll have our first interaction, either with an orchestra or a choir or a school. There are so many opportunities. Lynn and I spoke with a wonderful lady called I.J. Roughton, who goes back to Finland every year for a music program, and she infused us with so much energy and excitement for things that we should do. I think Linda's joining us, Linda Berger as well. And Linda, if you're open to it, I'll bring you on to chats. But there are so many music opportunities here. Our biggest challenge is going to be which ones do we take advantage of? And the thing that we always do on these journeys as well is we take into consideration the final construct of the participants, the delegates joining, what their interests are. And then we'll framework that meeting around people's core interests. Of course, there are so many opportunities, but if there's a leaning towards one kind of very specific kind of area of music or education, then we'll probably navigate towards kind of solidifying that as the opportunity. But this is your first opportunity to really be introduced to some level of music, and everybody's bonded as a group at this point. So joining in is optional, but encouraged as well. So everything that we coordinate the workshops, especially for this group, we try and provide opportunities for interaction as much as possible.
If it made me think about, because when we were in Argentina, then we watched an orchestra rehearsal of young kids. They're middle school, basically the age. And then Sherry, she got out her flute and she played along with them for part of it, you know, just one of those impromptu things. And it was so fun for her to just step up there. We sort of leaned the instrumental route that time. And when we were in Brazil, and this was actually when it was still people to people before Nicholas started, but we had one of the violin teachers, you know, Ingrid, and she jumped up and she started doing some violin teaching. You just don't know when these opportunities are available. So it's just, we step into those opportunities when they're provided and love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then this evening there's going to be a free night to arrange your own dinner. And I know some people, I always like to talk about this because those individual travelers, they might be may have a little trepidation to say, okay, what am I going to do during free time? I'm going to be walking around by myself. But based on the welcome dinner, I don't think that's how this group operates. Tell us a little bit about like those new travelers who are single or are kind of hesitant. What happens on those free nights during that free time?
I will say probably 80% of the time we all decide where we're going and we go together. Now, once in a great while, they might break off into two groups. And, but as far as I know, no one has ever been left at the hotel unless they wanted to. Sometimes people need to regroup or, because they're tired of anything like they just need to sleep because we're upside down sometimes in our time zone. And we always make sure everyone has someone to go. It's just what you do. We're family. We take each other with us. And so no one would be alone unless they chose to. And that was something that helped them to regenerate that. And we completely honor that as well.
No such thing as a solo traveler on a Lynn Brinkmeyer group.
No.
On day 4, we actually get a chance to explore. There's a few things that make a culture very, very unique. And it's not only just the history and the architecture. We're covering the music throughout the entire itinerary, which is an amazing thing. A culture is all about music. But one of my favorite things is the food. And this morning, we definitely get a chance to experience the food of Helsinki. Nicola, tell us a little bit about what we're going to be experiencing here on day 4.
Yeah, I think the food's very important no matter what country you go to, right? Experiencing the food is tantamount to learning about its culture and its history. And the markets, that's where the beating heart of the local culture is. I know whenever I visit a new location, I've been visiting a lot of new locations these past few months, but where I feel happy is inside the places where people are doing their shopping for their favorite foods, whether it be the local cheese counter or in Helsinki, you're going to see a lot of fish, I imagine, and try some very different fermented type fish options. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but every destination has its very unique cultural elements to it. So this will be an opportunity for you to do that before again leaning into kind of the music side of things in the afternoon. None of us are going to attempt to say what the music center is called, and you have to go to Finland to figure out how to make that pronunciation spectacular. So I'm not going to butcher that. But this afternoon, like the music center that you will visit, again, it's an opportunity to meet with musicians, meet with people passionate about teaching Finnish culture, Finnish music before you have dinner at a local restaurant. So again, music is the beating heart of the country, right? I think it's been acclaimed many times that Finland is amongst one of the happiest cultures in the world. And I think what you will learn on this particular journey is it probably is a little bit down to their commitment to the arts, to music, to nature, and how they live their everyday lives. Living their life is important. Working is necessary, but the most important thing is living a full life. And I think this gives you an opportunity to have those conversations.
Absolutely. And the one thing I do love about this itinerary, above and beyond the music, is the fact that you're spending the entirety of the trip in Helsinki. So you're unpacking once. It's a very laid back, relaxing experience. You don't have to worry about, okay, you have to be up at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning to pack my bag to get it outside the door at 7. And you're really relaxing. And so on day 5, we spend another beautiful day in the city of Helsinki, traveling out maybe to the outskirts. Tell us a little bit about on day 5 how the music continues to come to life in the beautiful country of Finland.
Yeah, this is, the workshops that we've done in the past, we've always tried to go into a workshop, somebody's home or a studio environment, to learn about the traditional instruments. And the kantele, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I hope so, is the national instrument. So I've heard it said that they actually grow kanteles because they're made from, I think, birch wood that's harvested in the winter. So learning about the history of this instrument, how important it is to the culture of Finland, and also having a demonstration, being able again to get involved in a hands-on workshop that is led by kantele players. So learning how to play this beautiful instrument, again, I think is all part and parcel of the hands-on experience, getting involved, And this goes back, many, many, many years. So hearing about the history of it as well. We love to hear music, hear it played and performed, but learning about why it's important and why it's so revered is also a big part of this day as well.
If I can just speak up a little bit too about the instrument making, we've observed in so many different places them making instruments. We've had the opportunity to make our own instruments, and you probably can't see it, but back in that corner, there's a drum that I made with the help of Heather, and it was in Tanzania. It took 3 days because the leather, the cowhide was wet, and you have to stretch it and put it together. And I won't say my luggage didn't smell all that great when I got home, but because it was sort of dry, but not really, so, and, I smile every time I look at that drum. Also, there were drums, we made drums in Ireland, that, I can't think of the name of the drum right now.
Barin.
Oh, yeah, Laura, thank you.
Mhm.
So, and then also when we were in Peru, we made some panpipes and, attempted to play those the way they were supposed to be. We also participated by playing the penny whistle when we were in Ireland, in a little concert that we had in one of the wonderful man's family's house. It was entertaining for everybody to play. I'll just say that. So.
I think
Yeah.
that's when the characters of people come out, right? So when they're doing something they love, you're really you're feeling them at their best, right? And their character really comes through because they're sharing something with you that they love. And at Nanda Journeys, we're very, very passionate about what we do, and connecting with passionate people creates plenty of stories, I think. So we could probably talk for the next hour alone about all of the workshops that you've done, Len, and all of the things that you have in your office right there from your international travels. But it's usually one of the things that people enjoy the most.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And on day 6, we leave the city of Helsinki on the way to Turku. Tell us a little bit about Turku, Nicola, why we're going on a full day excursion to see this one of a kind place.
Well, the countryside and the drive alone is going to be stunning. We're hoping that you're going to see those beautiful fall colors because again, we're there in September. The fall hits just a little bit earlier there. So this day it'll be full of beauty on the journey there. But then it's really important. Turku was, I think, the original capital city. It's the second largest city in Finland. So from a culture, from a governance, it's a really important location. But here is the Sibelius Museum, and Sibelius, it's really important that we infuse this element into this particular journey because he's a very, very important character in the history of Finland. And I think they produce some of the world's best kind of Len, help me out here. So the orchestra leaders, I'm forgetting the word here for just one second, and it's conductors, yes. So again, really, really important element of the program. And then behind the scenes tour of the Philharmonic Orchestra. And they practice here daily. So potential to hear a performance, hear them practicing for something. Hopefully we're hoping to meet the musicians and have a conversation with them as well. Before you go on to cider distillery, we always like to taste a little bit of the local alcohol if it's available, whether that be wine or beer, or in this case, it's going to be cider. So again, a day that we hopefully feel is well balanced between the music, the culture, and different locations. So you're seeing a different side of Finland this day as well.
I can just mention too, for a previous trip that we took when you're talking about this, is that because when we went to Sydney and went to Australia, we got a behind the scenes tour of the Sydney Opera House. And every single one of us could stand there at the podium and get a picture of us, conducting the orchestra, or quite a few of us sang on the Opera House stage just to say, I sang on the Opera House stage, and we did, so
Yeah.
those are interesting things that are a typical part of the itinerary.
Yeah, and it's one of the oldest orchestras I think in the world as well. So again, from a historical context perspective, the opportunity to be in a place like that is really quite special.
And after our day trip out to Turku, we get a chance to spend a day trip to Nuukesio. Not sure, but
Nuuksio. We all have to go
Nuukesio.
to Finland
Yeah, exactly.
the Finnish pronunciations they're definitely a challenge. So I've been trying. I've kind of repeated a few of them several times today, but they're still not hitting right. So
This is another beautiful day to experience the countryside of Finland. Tell us a little bit about our trip up to Nuuksio.
So I think everybody's going to really enjoy this one because you're out in nature, right? So I think of this day as being kind of a mind, body, soul kind of experience. So you're out in the national park with the trees, and there's a guided nature walking tour as well. So it's kind of like forest bathing, but with music. So I think Nellie's joining us on the webinar tonight, and this one might resonate for you, Nellie, like the drumming workshop and the rhythm circle. But again, you're out in nature. So it's an opportunity to really sit and be. I think that's something that's really important in the Finnish culture as well, is just being one with nature. And this day infuses music with that. So this should be a very relaxing, rejuvenating, kind of healthy experience that kind of re-energizes you for the days ahead, but also the months ahead as well. So this should be an opportunity to really feed back to the soul what it deserves, which a little bit of nature, we probably all could do with a little bit more of it. So I'm hoping that everybody really enjoys this day as much as I'm excited for you to enjoy this particular day.
Great. And then on our last day in Helsinki, we get a chance to see the Finnish National Opera, as well as do some last minute, gathering of gifts for loved ones back at home, but more importantly, ourselves. And tell us a little bit about this last day, day 8 in the beautiful city of Helsinki.
Yeah, the National Opera and the ballet for another backstage tour here as well. So really, again, connecting to the fabulous energy. Again, back to the importance of music and the arts. Every child is given an opportunity through government programs to be able to attend either the opera or the ballet. So you have an opportunity to really, again, understand how important this is in the culture. And then, unfortunately, we're already there at the farewell dinner. And I know some of us say the welcome dinner is their favorite, but for me, the farewell dinner is always my favorite element. The energy and the chatter. And if we could have the farewell dinner all day, that would be great because there's enough energy, there's enough conversation, sharing of stories, sharing of pictures. And Lynn, I'm sure you feel that too, having been part of 14 farewell dinners on these groups. Tell us a little bit about how that all works at the end of the week.
They're beautiful, and they're more just passing us. They're not formal. Typically, we fall in love with the guides. And so
Mm-hmm.
there's this bitter sweetness because we're saying goodbye to a new friend that we just made. And so, it's fun to celebrate them and get, I will say that our delegates that travel with us are so generous. And we typically take bags of gifts to all the different places that we go. And we always have beautiful gifts to give to the guide and to the bus driver. Typically, we have the same bus driver most of the time, not always, but most of the time. And we bring them in and say, come have lunch with us too, rather than eating outside, those kinds of things. And so it really is just a way to honor everyone that's been part of it and sharing lots and lots of stories. And so it's a beautiful, little bit bittersweet because you're saying goodbye, but it's so wonderful.
Yeah, farewell dinner is one of those things that I always say I've never seen somebody learn how to airdrop faster than on a farewell dinner. Like sharing pictures and sharing photos and all of that. It's such an amazing opportunity to kind of, we're ready to sleep in our own beds again, but at the same time it's bittersweet because we don't want to leave the new friends or the family that we've made along the trip as well. But as we were saying, the next day we depart Helsinki for home, as we're excited about taking our memories and our photos and our new friends with us, knowing that this won't be the last time, but we will see each other again in another part or another corner of the world. Another very important part about Nanda Journeys is the impact that we leave. Sometimes that impact is actually by working with nonprofits, but the impact here is a little bit unique. Nicola, tell us a little bit about the impact that we're going to be having here. We like to say we're taking our memories, but leaving our footprints. Tell us a little bit about our footprints that we're leaving behind.
Yeah, we, for those of you who've journeyed with us before, you'll know that we put quite a bit of effort into supporting local. So, as we say, we like to spend your travel dollars responsibly. So, we're doing our very best to support the arts here. So, we've already talked about how Finland as a country puts so much effort into funding and supporting the arts, and we're also participating in that endeavor as well by supporting some of these initiatives. So we're also working with smaller restaurants or with local guides or with people that are involved in music education. So every journey that we take, and I'm going to invite Linda. The chat's disabled again. I'm very sorry to everybody that's trying to chat with us. But Linda, I'm going to bring you on to chat with us a little bit. Just let me do that. Linda's been to Finland. She spent a sabbatical there. And Linda, can you hear us? And let's see if we
Are
can
you hearing
hear
me?
you. Yes, we can. There you are.
Oh, great.
Apologies about the chat there, but tell us a little bit about your time in Finland and let us know what you loved about it and why you're excited for some of our travelers to enjoy this beautiful country.
Sure. Well, it was great. I was there with my husband, Larry, in 2019. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, the choral group that has the most reputation, Vox Aria, is conducted
Uh-huh.
by Sanna Salminen. And
Mm-hmm.
position in music education is at a university called Jyväskylä. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the center of the bulge in the lakes area. And she's
Uh-huh.
a preeminent person to speak to people about music education. So we spent quite a bit of time with her. I did a study there about dispositions. We were trying to figure out in our own program what personal qualities were really essential to a good teacher, as well as all the things we know are professionally necessary. And so
Mm-hmm.
I interview a lot of people there, spent time there, and they were most welcoming. But primarily, Sana is a part of an international scenario around her choir, Vox Aria, and they
Mm-hmm.
go all over Europe. They've been to the US and a lot in Finland, and they are just a wonderful choral organization. So to me, it's a place not to be missed and
Mm-hmm.
probably the best music education site in the country.
What did you come away with, like from a Finland culture perspective? What do you think is the one takeaway that you had after your time there?
Just the value on music in the whole society and the fact that everybody in the educational circles has different ways of being involved in music. It's very
Mm-hmm.
important and very essential to their culture and to their being and to who they are.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, Linda. I appreciate you coming on to have a chat with us about that. Thank you for your insights, and it's lovely to hear your voice.
It's great to be with everybody. We miss the people that we know from the group on our previous trips. So we're excited to hear your voices eventually too, in some other setting, perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, wonderful. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for coming on and spending a couple of minutes with us.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you so much, Linda. We appreciate you joining and bringing your insight and into this amazing conversation about this amazing destination. So before we let you go, a little bit more about the itinerary and the journey itself. If you are interested in signing up and showing up, our itinerary is $62.99 per person, inclusive of air out of New York City or Boston. That's based on double occupancy. If you are interested in booking your own airfare from other gateways in the country, the land-only cost is $5,449. And our team at Nanda Journeys can help you plan your airfare from any other part of the country as well. If you are traveling as a single traveler, although there are no solo travelers on a Dr. Lynn Brinkmeyer tour, the $999 for your own room, not to travel as single, but you'll have your own room if you don't have a rooming partner or a companion. For you to hold your spot on this itinerary, it's only $500 per person. Space is limited, and that deposit is refundable up until April 16th, 2026, minus a $95 service fee. So one thing I do want to let you know is these tours do fill up with these 20 participants. As you can imagine, it's a very intimate experience, but that means there's not as many seats for all the people that want to go. So what we always recommend is hold your spot. If you decide before April 16th you don't want to go, you can get that refund minus that $95 service fee. I always say it's better to have the seat and not need it than to need the seat and us put you on a wait list. So we definitely don't want that to happen. So if you are interested in joining us, please put that deposit down sooner as opposed to later. Also, your journey, your way, talking about all the amazing things you can add on. Nicola, tell us a little bit about ways that our travelers are able to kind of customize their itinerary or customize their airfare.
Yeah, we have this core wonderful program for you, which I hope you can join. But if you want to arrive early, stay longer, experience more of Europe, experience more of Finland, upgrade your airfare, we're really here to make sure that, as it says, it's your journey, your way. So we can help with any and all of those arrangements. Just have to let us know. And we can do early arrivals if you wanted to arrive the day before. We can arrange for a private transfer for you. And some people like to acclimatize to the different change. So however you want to experience this particular time, you just need to let us know. The core program's already done, and we can add on to it however you would like us to.
That's great. And also offering travel protection. It's not required, but it's always highly recommended. Tell us about how our travelers can kind of protect their itinerary.
We do encourage it. I just this week, had to have a conversation with somebody who wasn't able to travel for medical reasons. And it's always reassuring when we learn that they definitely did take that insurance policy. And they just told me today that they were reimbursed 100% of their fees because they weren't able to travel. So we do recommend Trovik insurance. You do not have to take that policy. You can choose your own provider. The thing that I ask is please take insurance. The one thing that we don't know when we wake up one day is we don't know what's going to happen, right? So it's much better for your peace of mind to have that particular insurance in place. And if you have any questions about that, whether it be the policy we recommend or if you want to talk to us about another policy that you want to take out, the most important thing for us is that you please consider taking that. And I know, Lynn, even for you, we've had to take advantage of those insurance coverages for yourself. Life happens. And
COVID showed up when I didn't expect it to the day I was supposed to leave.
Yes, it did. And we're here just to help with that. So yeah, just encourage everybody to make that a decision in your journey.
Awesome. And one last thing, I just want to go back a couple of slides before we get to the end. That QR code also gets to the website. So there is an online booking platform. So if they want to make their bookings online, if they want to sign up, they're able to do that, make deposits, get more information, download the itinerary there as well. So you can actually take a screenshot of that QR code for any information that you need in addition to what we've shared with you again today. So without further ado, there are no other questions. There's no other information, but I did have a question because I realized as we were talking that we hadn't talked about it much or brought it up. This is a journey of professional discovery. But if they're not necessarily a music professional, or if they're not necessarily interested, or maybe their wife or their husband or their travel companion isn't a music professional, are they also welcome on this journey as well if you're not necessarily in the music profession?
Yeah, everybody's welcome.
I would say, we've had nurses, we've had business professionals, we've had like music therapists that one of our wonderful family. So I think anyone that is interested in music or even just willing to listen to music or learn about another country, I know that there's plenty for them. And even sometimes partners have come sometimes and not sure, do I really want to do this? And they end up loving it. And now, when we went to Tanzania, we did some African dancing. Maybe all the nurses danced with us there too. So you just never know. So and everyone gets to do what's best for them, obviously. So with mobility needs or anything like that, we make sure that everyone is enjoying it to the best of their abilities. So it truly is a wonderful experience. And I welcome anytime we're on a tour, there's a challenge for someone, I want to know about it instantly, so we can't fix what we don't know about. And so and people are great about that. So yes, please, everyone's welcome.
I think that's the other thing as well on this journey in particular. We don't create a separate guest itinerary because the content in of itself is just so joyful, right? So music, culture go hand in hand. So we purposefully don't create a separate program and have people peeling off and doing different things, because what we found is everybody loves all of the content. So I think way back when, Lynn, when your first or second or third journey, we were probably had a guest program and people were going off doing different things. And what we realized was everybody wants to do the music and the culture and to actually tie it together. So anybody is welcome. I think lots of our Nanda family outside of our music family have joined us, like you say. So everybody's welcome to this, Helsinki, the city of light. I wanted to talk a little bit about the weather because I realized I hadn't interjected kind of that little piece. Because we're going in September, it's autumnal in nature, right? So we're going to see hopefully some beautiful colors, but it will be a little cooler. So temperatures are probably going to be in the 50s during the day, but getting down into the low 40s at the nights and the early mornings. So as I mentioned at the start of the webinar, I'm here in Vienna, Austria, one of your past music education locations, Lynn. And the thing I'm enjoying is just that change in the air, right? And I think that's what this program is going to provide an opportunity, is that there's that crispness to it. There's that little breeze, and it just feels so fresh. And I'm excited for you to enjoy a different season because we've gone in June before now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if you're going to be northern enough to see the northern lights up there in Finland or not, but who knows, they might make an appearance. I know I've seen them as far south here in Rhode Island, so you never know
Yeah,
when you're
they're
going to get a
definitely
chance.
more active. But there is that towards the end of August is when they typically start to put in an appearance. So there's a slim chance that Mother Nature might give you a nice little night show.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't seem like there are any other questions from any of our other travelers. So without further ado, we'll kind of close up. Lynn, are there any final words that you have for the attendees to the webinar, the viewers of the recording?
I welcome everyone. If you have questions that pop up after this webinar, please reach out to me either through Nicola, or you can find my name on, just Google me. And I'm happy to just even my name at lynnbrinkmeyer@gmail. You can get me that way because I'm happy to chat with you either on Zoom or on a phone call and answer any questions you might have. People with dietary challenges, those kinds of things, we can make sure that we take care of you on that type of issue as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lynn. Nicola, any final words from you?
I just want to say thank you for everybody here, either listening now as we're live or to the recording. Warmly welcome everybody to this wonderful music education Nanda family. And who knows, my digital nomad life might take me to next September. I kind of hope so. So Lynn, thank you for everything. Michael, thank you for this wonderful platform to talk about our journeys. And thank you everybody for being here.
Thank you, Nicola.
Yes, thank you all so much, Nicola, Lynn. Thank you both for joining us. All the viewers, I echo their thanks. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on the next Nanda Journeys presentation. And more importantly, we look forward to seeing you in Finland in September. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your days.
Bye-bye.
Bye.